Hello, welcome to the Reflect Now podcast. We're getting into episode 2. I'm so excited. If you're new, the whole concept is how do we reflect heaven in the place and space God has us. I'm joined by a very special guest. Let's go. I'm joined today. Yeah, he even gets his own little hype here. We are at a place called From Ground Up Cafe, and it's owned by our very own Msizi James.
Again, my other hype.
Yeah, you know, you got to get the hype. Msizi's joining us today, and I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. We've done a few things, had a few conversations in the past, but this one's going to be extra special. For anyone that doesn't know who you are, and if they are, they're probably living under a rock, or probably never drive a car. Give us the 30-second intro to Msizi James.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. It's good to see you guys again. Msizi James, the owner of From Ground Up. 30 seconds, done. I'm joking. I guess in a nutshell, I'm a radio presenter, TV presenter, currently at 947 if you drive your car, and in Johannesburg from 9 o'clock in the morning, previously at 5FM, previously at East Coast Radio. TV, businessman, thriving to create cool brands in general, marketing consultant, busybody, which I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to get away from being a busybody.
It's true.
That's who I am.
You are very busy, but on the other side, you also are engaged and going to be married very soon.
Soon to be engaged, getting married in, what's the date today? August. I don't know, 6 months? Is it 4? I don't know, a couple
Whatever
of months.
it is to December.
4 months. Isn't December like in 4 months?
Yeah, you get very
August,
scared.
October.
Yeah.
September, October, November. That's
Fiance
hectic.
dying somewhere right now. Did that the realization only hit you right
I
now?
keep saying to people, my wedding's like in 6 months. I've got time. It's 4 months away now.
Well, this is always what happens. We were speaking about it. Like when you get to June, July, you're like, yeah, no, we're all good. And then August hits, and suddenly it's like, oh no, we're not halfway.
Absolutely.
But it feels like
On the other side.
We always start the podcast doing something fun just to get the conversation going.
Okay.
And what we're doing for this season 2 is something called 2 Truths, 1 Line. So I got you ready for that. Hopefully we'll get through 2 rounds of it. But let's see how well I know Msizi just in the few conversations that we've had. See how well I know him. See if I can pick out the lie from the truth. 2 Truths, 1 Lie. Go.
Okay, so I started dating my fiance when I was 17. I am an only child and I have 2 dogs.
I know you have 2 dogs.
Okay.
I feel like
Bear in mind, I'm 28 now.
you
I'm
have
28.
spoken about previously dating others. So I doubt if it was 17 that would work. So I'm going to pick that as the lie.
The lie is that I'm an only child.
Oh, no.
So, technically, you're right and you're wrong. We did start dating at 17.
Oh, there was
So
a
she's-
hiatus.
Yeah. So, we started dating when
Hey.
I was in matric.
That's a loophole.
Exactly. It's a trick question because started dating when I was in matric and then broke up when I left school because she's 2 years younger than me. She was still at school. I moved out of the town, moved out of the city, really lived elsewhere, and we happened to reconnect in Mozambique in 2016. So 5-6 years ago now, yeah.
Okay. Great story.
So trick one.
It was a trick one. It was a loophole. So I'll give myself half points for that.
This is going to be hectic because I genuinely haven't thought of a second one. 2 truths
Let's
and
do
a lie.
on the fly.
Okay.
As a 947 DJ, you should be able to think on your feet and make it happen. So 2 truths, 1 lie. Round 2, go.
Absolutely. I genuinely hate coffee. Like, even though I have a coffee shop, I do not like coffee. I have I'm allergic to chocolate. And last one is I used to be a surf instructor.
I'm going to go with being a coastal boy that you at some stage surfed and could instruct in said thing. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, true.
Before I was on radio,
Okay.
I was a surf instructor.
Okay, we got that one. Okay, so now between the coffee. What was the second one?
I'm allergic to chocolate.
Allergic to chocolate. I've never seen you eat a chocolate. And I don't know, the coffee. I mean, you're sitting here with like a nice coffee right now.
Maybe I'm advertising the restaurant.
Maybe. I mean,
It's
that's.
coffee.
You don't have to sip it, but like, that's halfway gone. No, I'll go with your allergic to chocolate
Absolutely. As the lie or the truth?
as the truth.
Absolutely. I am. I am allergic to chocolate, and don't ask me which part, but it's a full thing. Weirdly enough, like I like milk. I really like milk, And cocoa is fine. Like, I don't really like the taste, but it's fine. It's once everything is put together, like a chocolate bar, can't.
Bad things happen.
Can't. Migraines, my throat swells.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I must...
Life is really average for you. We'll have
It
to have
really
like a
has
prayer
been.
session after this. Just quickly. Deliverance from
Yeah, I was
this.
about to say, something's inside of me. Please pray it out. You know, I don't know what spirit has taken over me.
Msizi, one thing I always love is being around you, talking to you, is you're a very passionate guy. I think the world has grabbed the idea of about the importance of passion and how it drives you and how it leads you, but there always needs to come, and it always has to come back to it, but there's, when we deal in these things like passion, creativity, other conversations we've had, it always pulls back to a source. Where do you think the source of passion is for you, and where do you think it should be?
I guess it's a desire to be in a better world than I came into, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like impact, legacy, that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
100%. So, I mean, if anyone knows anything about my past, is that I don't really come from any sort of wealth at all. I don't come from a necessarily well-off background. I mean, I'm not going to say that we were the worst in this country. We live in a crazy country, but I guess that was one of the driving forces for me as far as business especially is concerned. And yes, a lot of people can be business people but aren't really passionate about what they do. A lot of my passion stems from my family too. I think you can pass down passion sometimes. So I think my mom passed that sort of being passionate about everything that you do down to me. I mean, she runs NGOs and she's passionate about different things compared to what I am. But I think that's where it stems from, as far as like really being into and loving what you do. But as far as the business passion comes from, that genuinely, without trying to be super cheesy, it comes from a place of having nothing. And not having. And so that's where it comes from, and wanting to leave a bit, like you said, a legacy behind. Not just for my children, but for people in general. I don't want to. Sure, it sounds very self-indulgent to say I don't want to be forgotten, but I want to leave something behind.
Yeah.
Because I didn't come into a world where anything was left behind for me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no,
So
I get
that's where that comes from. Part two is, where should it come from? I don't understand the question.
So I think where it kind of like where it starts to when things get tough,
Yeah.
often your passion, your motivation, what's going on behind the scenes gets tested. And so sometimes I think when we're passionate because or our motivation is coming from it's not just to leave a legacy or an impact that's more positive than what we came into. Sometimes it could be, hey, my motivation is actually to grab a hold of these material things, to have that status, to walk in the room and everyone knows my name, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think when things get tested, it starts to pull back into those motivations and the whys of what's going on. And so I think then in my mind there could be things that sources that it should come from and sources that probably shouldn't come from.
And I think that those temptations are there. I think also, especially starting off in my career, there was definitely those temptations of, this is why I'm doing this. I'm only doing an extra show a week, or I'm only doing an extra gig a week just so I can have that BMW. I think that has changed for me in the last couple of years as my life has progressed with my fiance, with my world in general and how I view the world that I'm in. But that's changed a lot. So I can attest to having been down that path where it was like, what's really motivating me? Why am I doing this stuff? Do I need a house in Four Ways or Parkers or whatever it may be? Do I need to live in that flat in Mhlanga? Is that why I'm doing that? And never being content. And I guess that's where a lot of my initial driving force was, and a lack of contentment with where I was. But genuinely, and I said this to a friend of mine the other day, if Jesus was to come back tomorrow, I genuinely think, firstly, it's about time. COVID has been hectic. But also, I'm in such a happy place, or a decent place in my life where, don't get me wrong, I don't have everything in the world, but it's like I'm in such a content place with my life at the moment.
Yeah.
At least, Jesus, wait until like just after December 18th, just so I can get married first, But, I'm just in such a good place now that I'm not driven by the idea of wanting more.
Yeah.
I don't want more. That's why I don't like the idea of hustling. or the term hustling, just because I'm not trying to grab more. I'm trying to make sure that what I have succeeds.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with what's going on in my life. Let's just make that flourish. How do we make those brands bigger? How do we make sure that they're sustainable?
Yeah.
I don't want to be the brand. I want to create brands, because the issue when you are the brand in general is that what happens if I disappear tomorrow? What happens to everything that I've been doing? Does that disappear too? And that's something that scares me.
I think it's something that pulls back, and like you're touching into some like leadership stuff, impact stuff, and you're talking in from business space. We often will talk about it, and we've done leadership series on it where, so much of the world wants to go after success, but actually, biblically, it's like we go after significance, because we want the thing to be healthy, we want it to grow, but we also want it to be significant. If it's just successful, cool, it'll be fine. But it's that's the poor man's version.
Absolutely.
The other side is significance, and I think, you spoke about it, the last year and a half going through COVID, challenges being a business owner. What do you think's the biggest thing, like, God has been teaching you, God has been pulling you through to get to that place where you actually are feeling that contentment, where actually I'm kind of happy where we are.
Absolutely.
I know where we're going, but let's carry on.
Bro, and I keep saying to people, like, it's been the craziest year for a lot of people. And while most of us lost something during COVID, be it physically you lost a person, or you lost your livelihood because of a job or whatever it may be. A lot of people went through a lot of stuff, but I keep saying, like, God really, really looked out for us, me, this past year, man, and I've been so blessed with the different things that have started. We started this restaurant mid-COVID, and that was just an act of faith. It was like, let's see if it happens, but we took that leap, and we started another business. I started my own, me and my fiance started our own coffee brand since then, and it's like just watching that grow before its official launch, and it's like he's really got a hand in a lot of stuff that we're doing at the moment. And I think when you're doing things for the right reason, it's much easier for them to succeed, and God to, like, I don't want to say like God doesn't help people if you're doing it for the wrong reason, but it's like all good gifts come from Him. And when you are doing things for the right reason, it's like you can see His hand in those things. Like I think about why we started a coffee brand, or why we started this or that, why I'm doing this. And it's like, I know that I'm not doing it just for the money, the quick money grab and then disappear. There's a real reason why From Ground Up is even named From Ground Up in the concept. And it's like you can see His hand in a lot of that stuff.
Tell us about that.
So the idea of From Ground Up is that we wanted to create, we didn't want to create more employees in South Africa. We wanted to create potential employers and business owners. So the idea was to take a lot of people who had never worked at a restaurant, had never been in this industry, never made a cup of coffee, bring them here, train them, teach them how to make coffees, and then eventually give them I don't know if you saw a bunch of containers at the back there, but the idea is eventually to set up containers around different townships around the country, even in suburbs, corner of park or whatever, set up suburbs with our own guys owning those containers as their own coffee shops that we franchise out to them and help them start their own businesses. So start them from ground up, literally where they know nothing about coffee, teach them about coffee grounds, and then send them out, man. And that's the whole point. So the concept has always been to grow and create more employers than employees. Because small business is the backbone of our economy, and so if we can create more small businesses, because Caswell, who's our main guy here, head barista manager, when he leaves here, he's now been equipped with the managerial skills, the skills of how to run a cafe, enough to take his own container to, I guess, some park, like Delta Park, or the corner of Delta Park, set up a cafe, have his own staff, and perhaps Castle wants to have 3 of those containers. And it's like, we want to create real livelihoods where these people know that they're doing it for themselves and not just getting handouts, So that was the idea of From Ground Up, not just having the same 10 people work here for the rest of their lives, you know. Even our turnaround, we don't want anyone to work here for more than 2 years. Just once you've been here for 2 years, please, let's help you start something else. My little brother started here. He moved into another division, which is sales. No longer works here now. He's a sales guy with the same company, though. So it's like, that's the whole plan. That's the plan.
I think anytime you're talking about empowering someone, putting the stuff in their hands that they can then run with, you're getting into significance over
Yeah.
success.
Exactly.
I think that's where we're seeing it. So well done to you
Absolutely.
guys, to you and your team. It's
Thank you.
such
And
a cool thing to see.
And I say that's why we're doing it for the right reasons. We're not just doing it so we can have a super successful restaurant that makes all the money in the world and is super packed every week. And it's like we're trying to create something different and, like you said, some sort of impact within our communities.
I think we're last thing I want to talk about, and it's what I'll kind of pose to you. Looking at the next 12 months. And I'm not just saying not just on the macro scale, in micro scale, individuals. What do you think is the most encouraging thing, or the thing we need to grab a hold of in the next 12 months to make progress, to be in a better place, to be in a place where it's more positive than we are right now?
Whew. Yo, you came with some heavy questions, hey? I thought you were going to ask me like what my favorite drink is and how do I like my coffee. I'm just joking.
We did two truths, one lie. That's all you got. Now we get deep.
This is quite deep. So please pose that question to me one more time.
So, having the last 12 months we've had.
Yes.
Looking forward in the next 12 months. What do you think is the thing we need to grab a hold of? That
as
will
a
help
society,
us
as a people.
As a people to grow, to move forward, make progress, to be in a more positive place than where we are right now.
I think if there's one thing I've learned to do a lot more of personally as an individual is really being having a lot more gratitude, just waking up and not taking things for granted. I think a lot of people took a lot of their lives for granted. Both their jobs, their security, whatever it may be, was just like, it's fine, it's going to be there, you know. So I think just being grateful and not taking things for granted and moving with a spirit of gratitude. And I know that's easier said than done. And I know that sounds like it's coming from a place of, I'm fine, I'm going to be great. It's hard to be grateful when you're going through the most. I'm very well... Guys, I've been through the trenches. I know it's hard. And that's why I would say that, is that just having a spirit of gratitude. And I think what was really, really encouraging was just watching, like I think I said to you last time, it was so great to watch people not diversify, but like pivot, you know?
Yeah.
Pivoting is such an important thing. And I think as a nation, we're quite resilient already. We go through a lot as a country. Somebody was telling me, an American friend was like, South Africans like to complain. I was like, my friend, not as much as Americans. If anyone likes to complain, it's Americans. Nice life there. But I think we're such a resilient people that genuinely, as cheesy as it sounds, we're stronger together than we are apart, you know? Shout out to the medics there, guys. But I would say just... Sure, I don't know how to wrap that up, but just going through the next 12 months, learn more ways to pivot, be grateful, remember that we are genuinely much stronger together than we are apart. And yeah, man, I think also another thing, guys, please don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of people are very full of pride, and so asking for help and that doesn't mean like monetary, just help in general. You know, if you're trying to start something or trying to do something or need help in any sort of way, ask for help, man. I wouldn't be anywhere I am now or where I'm going without the help of a million people around me. You know, so just reach out, ask. You know, I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, you 100% did.
It is what
I think
it
it's the
is.
two big things you're talking about. It's like priority. It's like reveal this. What's important to us, being grateful for that and cutting away some of the slack that has got in the way. And then the second part is the community, understanding that, hey, someone's here that needs help. Someone's in a worse off position than you can do something about it.
Trimming off a lot of fat in our lives has been a big
100%.
part. I mean, it's so crazy what we thought was so important prior to lockdown that I look back and I talk about on radio often where I'm like, there's certain things that I'll never go back to, like COVID or not. You'll never see me at this certain place. You'll never see me doing this or doing this. It's like a lot of that needed to be realized. And I think, weirdly enough, when you strip away a lot of that stuff that you were perhaps doing for fun or were able to do and were forced to do different things, you grow. I think about myself. Like, I don't know if I'd be in the business position I am now if my life didn't drastically change. If I was still gigging every weekend, if I was still traveling all over the country doing shows or whatever it was, I don't know if I would be able to create some of the stuff that I'm creating now. You know, so This year has really helped people trim off a lot of the fat.
Yeah, no. And it moves us towards that idea of significance over success. Msizi, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We're going to end our time. I hope that you were inspired, encouraged by this. I'd encourage you to share it with someone. Msizi's been so helpful. He's a really great friend of City. He's going to be very soon a guest worship leader.
Yeah.
We've already had that discussion. Don't worry.
Me and Jeffrey boy. Yeah.
You'll be hearing about that. But thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.